I like this. I don't know. I just like shit like this. Even if you left it like this, I would be like, oh, this is pretty cool. Kind of abstract like this. I don't know if he's gonna smooth it out, to make it look like a real kind of smooth sculpture. But this is interesting to me. I follow a lot of artists, and I think it's just because like I want to keep my brain like visually stimulated, and like when I see things like this, it helps you with anything that you do in life. You could be an accountant and just kind of stimulating your brain with stuff like this. Like I look how interesting that is. He put like a wicker basket with the clay stuff, so that's a good little combination there. Kind of just makes me, yeah, just remember that I can do shit like that in my life, whatever it is. Like if you're a chef, like hey, you can do some sort of interesting combination like that. It doesn't all have to be a clay basket or whatever, right? And so, yeah, I like shit like that, dude. Like it just makes you think. And but I just can't stand abstract art a lot. And when people just throw like splash colors up onto a canvas and stuff, I'm just like, all right, dude, we get it, dude. And then I just can't stand when it gets too pretentious, like when people gather around because they're watching some guy in a glass box, and you're like, what's going on here, dude? Everybody's like, oh, dude, it's Sigmund Rigegard. Who's that? Oh, he's the greatest artist that ever lived, man. What's he doing? And then you try to get a peek because there's a big crowd. You see some guy in a fucking glass cage, and he's just picking his nose and eating his boogers, and you're like, what is going on, dude? It's just yeah, this new abstract art, performance art. He's just picking his nose and eating his boogers. What? That's art, dude. He's willing to risk his humanity and be himself completely and pick his nose and eat his boogers, and it's just amazing to watch. And you're like, no, it's not, dude." And then some hipster girl like turns and says, yes, it is. You just don't understand art. And I go, look, man, I've seen a guy make a clay fucking statue, and it was kind of textured and abstract and looked really interesting, and then he put a wicker basket there instead of a real clay basket or whatever. And I thought that was interesting. I think that's art. No, it's the man picking his nose and eating his boogers. You just don't understand anything. You don't understand the revelation of humanity and how he's revealing himself and exposing his deepest, darkest secrets to everybody watching. That's true art. You're like, what are you talking about? Like, you look like a crazy person. No, nobody's crazy in here. And then everybody starts chanting and yelling at you and throwing paintballs at you, and you got to run.